My wife returned from a work retreat with a hickey. She swears it's a bug bite, but I'm not convinced. I'm at loss. How do I move forward? I'm 27M, in a fight with my wife, 28F. We've had fights before, but not this bad. I'm at a loss on how to proceed. For context, we're college sweethearts married for almost 6 years. We have a daughter, 4F. Our relationship was never perfect or without challenges. We've faced some family opposition with cultural differences, but we've made it work. She's my first love and my best friend. My wife works in corporate. Her job has annual work retreats that last for about a week. This year was in Vegas. I usually arrange my work schedule and tag along with her, and we make our own trip out of it. We couldn't this year. Our daughter gets major anxiety traveling long distances. We're working on it, but she wasn't budging, and we decided to choose our battles. So I stood behind and held down the fort at home. The change of plans was a bummer because the trip was part of us reconnecting as both a couple and as a family. My wife's work hours have taken a toll, and her work-life balance leaves much to be desired. We entertained the idea of her skipping the retreat. Attendance is optional, but it's generally frowned upon if you don't, and my wife's making connections in her field. She grew increasingly weird. We have a system if either of us is away for extended periods. We keep in contact. For the first day or so, she was herself, but she grew distant. I'd even text her about important stuff and be left on read while she claimed she never saw my text. Whenever we talked, she was rushing me or our daughter off the phone. These were all times she wasn't involved in retreat activities. We were supposed to have a mini birthday celebration for our daughter over FaceTime. Our daughter was excited. It was something my wife promised her because the retreat overlapped her actual birthday. But my wife backed out because she had people up to her room after seminar. It was like she wanted my permission to break her promise to our daughter. I told her I wasn't offering that nor making her keep her word. She said I wasn't being fair, and this was a networking opportunity. They were business-oriented and wouldn't understand her stepping away for family time. I said her decision is her decision, but she'd have to explain it to our daughter. She promised her that she'd rain check the following day. Our daughter didn't understand and cried. My wife ended up hanging up and leaving me to comfort our daughter alone. That whole incident rubbed me the wrong way. I didn't like it. She didn't keep her word for the rain check either. She was documenting the retreat on social media. One co-worker, 23M, was almost in every pic/video attached to her hip. In one pic, he had his arm too comfortably around her MO. He's a recent hire in my wife's department. She was asked to oversee him. I don't like the guy. He doesn't know boundaries. Once, in response to a work assignment, he texted my wife that she's exactly the kind of woman he needs to keep him in check. My wife had brushed it off. She feels bad for him because he's not fitting in. She took him under her wing during his first retreat with the team. If I questioned, she'd say she was tired or networking. There was always something. But I've seen her at these retreats. This wasn't like her. She was just off. The day before her return home, she complained about a bruise on her neck. She stressed it was a bug bite. I didn't actually see the bruise until she came home. I instantly thought it was a full-on hickey. She kind of brushed it off after making a big deal of it over the phone. I didn't push because our daughter was present. But when I was able to confront her, she clung to her bug bite claim. When I kept pushing, she asked what I was trying to imply. I outright said I believed she had a hickey, and I didn't believe she was being honest with me. We had it out then. She was offended and pissed at the accusation. Infidelity has always been a sore topic. Her family has a history of infidelity. So we had a pretty bad fight, and she accused me of looking to pick a fight due to the incident with our daughter's birthday. I told her it had nothing to do with that, and everything to do with a hickey on her neck. The fight ended in an impasse. We're still not recovered. She swears it's a bug bite, but I'm not convinced. I've always trusted my wife. I never doubted her, but this bruise doesn't look like a bug bite. It looks like a hickey. I only feel more strongly when I consider how distant and weird she was during the Vegas retreat. Now she's wearing turtlenecks ever since, and we're caught between arguing and her dousing our daughter and me with affection. Communication usually prevails for us, but not now. I think my accusation pushed us to a new level of argument. I'm at a loss here. I really need outside perspectives. How do I move forward? Relevant comments. Commenter. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I've never gotten a bug bite that looked like a hickey. Did she show you her phone or provide any proof that could support her innocence or just dismiss you? The extra affection is a common move from guilt-ridden cheaters. Even if we stretch the imagination and believe it is a big bite, she wasn't acting trustworthy, nor was she a good mother while it was in Vegas, and she needs to address and correct that. OP. No, I haven't had access to her phone. We usually have an open phone policy, but it's not something we've ever really done. I'm sure it'll be another argument. Commenter. Why did you go on work trips with her in the past? Did she want you to, or did you not want her go alone? What is and why is it necessary to have the system when one of you is away? Whose idea was the FaceTime birthday celebration? Did she not talk to the daughter at all on her birthday, or just couldn't do the FaceTime celebration? OP. Work-life balance was an issue, so she'd invite me on the retreats. The system is for an extended periods away from each other, like how long the retreat was, especially since we have a child now. The birthday FaceTime was my wife's idea. She promised our daughter, and got her excited about it. No, she didn't talk with our daughter until she was calling to cancel. That's another reason the birthday stunt rubbed me the wrong way. OP responding to a deleted comment. Yeah, you don't get to disconnect from being a parent, especially to a minor, for extended holidays. You certainly don't ghost them on their birthday, and when you promise to do something special for them and got the child excited about it, or hang up on them while they're crying. I'm not insecure. My wife's gone on the retreats before. We both work outside the home and have the caring for our daughter, so it's not an imbalance. My wife's work-life balance is out of sorts. She's in the company of other adults plenty. I've been with my wife on these retreats and other social events. I know how she is. She was off this entire trip, nor was it appreciated her entertaining a co-worker who ignores boundaries, having his arm wrapped around her waist like he was claiming her, or something. I trusted her when she said she had a bug bite. I got things to help her treat it for when returned. It was only after I saw the bruise in person that there was no mistaking it was a hickey for me, and I questioned her on it. Update. I, 27 male, wanted to give an update and thank everyone who reached out. The outside perspectives helped. Things are a roller coaster. I'm trying to process. It took a while for my wife, 28 female, and me to have any real conversation about the bruise on her neck. We were stuck between arguing and her showering our daughter for female and me with affection. I rarely saw the bruise because she was turtlenecked up, but I did note the healing process from reddish purple to yellow. There wasn't any more discussion about the Vegas retreat. She made it clear she was done talking about it and that she shouldn't need to defend herself to her husband. I told her she could do whatever she wanted, but I was done being treated like an idiot, and I wasn't sharing a bed with someone I couldn't trust. So I moved into the guest room. Communication stopped. The silences were palpable. Even our daughter noticed. I'm not proud of that. I try keeping her out of fights. My wife came to the guest room one night and asked if we could talk. I could tell she'd been crying. She said she hated the way things were between us. She felt she was losing me either way. I told her I needed complete honesty. She confessed she hooked up with that coworker, 23 male, on our daughter's birthday. The hickey was from him. She was lost in the heat of the moment and didn't realize he was sucking so hard on her neck. By her account, they made out while doing some on top of the clothes stuff, and then he went down on her. It stopped there because he called her by a nickname that I affectionately call her. It snapped her back to the reality of her actions. She went to splash water on her face and saw the hickey. The guy made light of it and made a joke about the hickey being her souvenir. She blew up on him and kicked him out of her suite. Part of the reason she was avoiding me was out of guilt. She said she's coming clean because she doesn't want to hide things anymore. I asked her why she cheated. What was it about that guy she deemed worth risking everything? She claimed it wasn't him specifically, nor is she unhappy with our marriage. She doesn't really know how to explain it, but a part of her feels broken. The more she looks in the mirror, the more she sees her dad, 57 male. A cycle of being consumed with work, distant from child, and the infidelity he put her mom, 55 female, through. She said her family never talked about anything openly, and how when she was growing up, my Amile never addressed anything with her. I said her parents didn't make her cheat. She chose to party up with a guy who constantly disrespected our relationship. These were all her decisions, and she at any point could have chosen our family. She agreed. She wants to blame her parents, but realizes this is on her. She apologized for cheating and for entertaining the guy's advances. She said she'll do whatever it takes to repair. Go to HR, quit her job, counseling, anything. She wants to make everything right. I told her I don't know what right looks like, or if that's possible for us anymore. I knew we had our problems, but I thought there wasn't anything we couldn't talk out. She insisted we still could talk it out. We didn't have to give up on us. She tried giving this rally cry for our relationship, but I felt very numb. I said I didn't recognize her. Not just the betrayal of our vows, but also how she treated our daughter. She's like a stranger. She feels she failed as a wife and mom, but she loves us both beyond words and wants our life together and our family intact. I told her I couldn't give her the answer she wanted and thought we needed to separate and reevaluate. She didn't want separation. She felt we should stay together in our home, but I told her a separation was happening. Either she was leaving the home or I was with our daughter. She consented to leaving so as to best not uproot our daughter so much. She asked for our daughter not to be taken away from her. My wife's staying with my in-laws. I know that's difficult in itself because she doesn't have the best relationship with her parents. One of the hardest parts is the shift for our daughter. Right now, she believes her mom's just busy with work per usual. She hasn't questioned it too much. My MIL called the other day. She made no excuses for my wife, but she's advocating for us to work through it. She told me times when she heard my wife describe me as the anchor she always wanted. She believes there's something worth fighting for if I'm open. Despite some family opposition we faced throughout our relationship, my MIL was always a supporter of us. I'm even more a loss. I never imagined this kind of betrayal from my wife. She was my safe place. I feel numb yet broken. I'm in love with her. That hasn't changed. But I don't see myself, her, our relationship, or our family the same. Everything's more tense because it's fresh. I think this period of separation is for the best. I'm not sure about divorce. I haven't let myself fully go there. I'm not set either way. I don't know where things go from here, but I'm focusing on our daughter and taking things one step at a time. I feel that's all I can do right now. Thanks again to everyone for the support. It's much appreciated. TLDR update 4. My wife returned from a work retreat in Vegas with a hickey on her neck. She swears it's a bug bite, but I'm not convinced. I only feel more strongly when I consider how distant and weird she was during the retreat. We're stuck between arguing and her dousing our daughter and me with affection. I'm at a loss. I really need outside perspectives. How do I move forward? Relevant comments. Commenter. It was already established that there had been line crossing with the coworker prior to the trip, even if it wasn't physical yet. But even if there hadn't been, I've known coworkers' pet names for their significant others before when only interacting with them on a professional level. The fact that the guy both intentionally gave her a hickey and used the pet name says a whole hell of a lot about him, though. Someone willing to engage in an affair is bad enough. This guy was doing it as some kind of sick power play. Commenter. It's also possible it's something super common like honey or baby. OP. No, it's a specific nickname. It's not derived from her name or anything. It just summed up things I loved about her in one word. Apparently, he turned it into a sexual context. Commenter. One question. How close was the colleague to her to know her nickname that you use? And why did she let him this close to her literally and figuratively? OP. At the time, I knew they had a friendship. She was asked to mentor him as he joined her department. So she took him under the wing and was supposed to be showing him the ropes. They would text and stuff, and he would cross boundaries. His texts increasingly read like a guy fishing for an opportunity. My wife shut the idea down as not even a factor for her, and I chose to trust my wife because I never had a reason to doubt her before. As far as the nickname, it was something only I called her, but it wasn't like a secret thing. I called her by it in front of others and our daughter. She claims the guy overheard me say it when she had me on speaker once, and he asked her about it after. Story 2. I, 26 male, proposed to my girlfriend, 26 female. She said no because she doesn't think we know each other well enough yet. It's been 3 years. She doesn't want to break up, but I think she should know by now if it's a yes or a no. I do. I've known I was going to propose to her someday since our 4th date. I just never felt in a rush to do it, and figured the time would come. We're young and having fun. My mom is pretty ill, and she started passing on heirlooms to the family kids. Last month, when she gave me her engagement ring, a very calm sense of focus came over me, and I knew that ring belonged to my girlfriend. I left straight for my girlfriend's and proposed immediately. It might not have been the most romantic setting, but I didn't want to waste another minute without my mom's ring on her finger. Once she realized I wasn't joking, her response was underwhelming to say the least. A brief summary of her main objections in order to the best of my recollection. We're still in our honeymoon phase. We've never had a serious disagreement and don't know how we'd be at handling that. We only share the good times and can't promise to be there for each other in bad times when we don't know what that looks like. I think us getting along so well is a reason we should get married. The good times will make any bad times worth it. We don't know if we'd be compatible living together, but we spend weekends at each other's house and have gone on many vacations. No issues that weren't easily dealt with have ever cropped up. We don't have a serious relationship, just a fun one. We don't confide the important stuff in each other. We don't rely on each other for emotional support. Her biggest example for this is that she didn't know my mom had cancer for a couple months, but I didn't want to deal with it. She was my escape from that. She also reminded me that when her grandfather passed, her friends were there for her, not me. I would have been if she told me she needed me. I didn't realize she had a hard time with it. She never said anything. She said she's not blaming me, just pointing out that it's weird both of us exclusively went to others for comfort. She said we've never really connected on a deeper emotional level. I don't see why we can't start. We have love. With a little patience, the rest will fall into place. We've never really discussed our future and don't know what the other wants out of life. I don't think it really matters. If we love each other, we'll find a way to make it work. I'll support her in whatever she wants to do, and there's no dream I have more important than being with her for me. Married life comes with a completely different set of responsibilities and expectations from each other. We won't have the same easygoing, independent relationship if we commit to building a life together. We'll need more from spouses than we're exchanging as girlfriend and boyfriend right now. She doesn't believe I understand what that really means. I don't really see why this is true. It's our marriage, and we can make it whatever we want. Also, I'm not afraid of increasing my commitment to her and being there for her. I want to. She can't help but wonder if this is some repressed grief response to my mother's illness. She thinks I proposed because my mom is sick, and I want to make her happy. I gotta be honest, this one hurt. I've never known anything with as much clarity as I know I want to marry her. She said she's willing to start working on us forming a stronger connection, maybe even moving in together, but I feel like after 3 years, she should know if I'm the one or not. Either she loves me, or she doesn't. TLDR, girlfriend isn't sure I'm the one after 3 years. Is there really a chance the answer will ever be yes if it isn't now? Edited to add, when my mom gave me the ring, she said, of all my kids, you're the one I know will make the best decision with this. My mom knows me better than anyone, and I believe her. Relevant comments. Commenter. It seems to me that she is right and totally being reasonable. Neither of you really communicate deep personal issues with the other. It's been all fun, which is fine. But without going through problems together, it's hard to know what the other people is truly like. When she said it right now, maybe later. She actually means it. Take this time to get more personal with each other. Don't be offended. If anything, it means she's taking it seriously, wanting to make damn sure you're the one she wants to spend the rest of her life with. Commenter. I don't know if anyone else is surprised, but I know I was when I read what Opie's girlfriend had to say. Those are some really practical, level-headed thoughts, and Opie, you conveyed them very well even if you disagree, so you deserve credit too. Listen, she isn't saying never, but that as is, you two have been coasting without figuring out if you two are on the same page as to serious life goals. You think she should know after 3 years, and generally speaking, I usually agree with that, but given her reasons and your ages, I find her explanation reasonable. So what do you want to do? If you really don't buy her response, then walk away, because you think that if she doesn't know now, the answer is actually no. If you do take her seriously and you do want to marry her, she's given you a point-by-point list of ways you two can get to know each other better, e.g. cohabitation, talking about future goals, actually relying on each other for emotional support during hard times, talking about the practical nature of if you have kids, and if you do, who takes care of them, and what religion you raise them, etc. Your choice, too. Best of luck with the decision and your mother's illness. OP. Yeah, well, I'm glad I conveyed them well. They're all I think about now. It's like Al the thinking I didn't do finally caught up, and there isn't enough alcohol or cookies. Commenter. Can I ask you, what are you friends and family members' relationships like? I'm just having such a hard time understanding how you got to your mid-20s without realizing this barely speaking booty call relationship where you've never had a real conversation in 3 years is not a serious relationship. That's next step should be marriage. Are you friends just all single? What are your parents like? How did it come to be that you didn't get an example of what a serious relationship looks like? Is this a cultural thing? I'm struggling to understand this. OP. My parents are divorced but co-parent. I have some married friends but spend more with my single friends. I spend most of my time outdoors or with my brother. I like new experiences and seek them out a lot. Relationships just haven't been that big a deal. I work and play. She's the only change in a long time. Update. Hey guys. So I didn't reply to a lot of the many comments I got, but I did read them all. Most of them more than once. I know it's only been like a month since I posted, but wow, a lot has changed for me. Posting here made me think about a lot more than just my relationship with my girlfriend. There's a lot of changes I need to make in my life, and I'm working on them every day. I've been resisting growing up for a while, but I realized that if I want to get married someday, I gotta start working on being an adult. Basically, the biggest changes in my life is I moved in with my girlfriend and have my first real job instead of working for my dad. It's a trip, but a good one so far. Did you guys know you can fold a fitted sheet WDF? I'm going to school next year, and I'm hoping to be a park ranger eventually. My girlfriend actually suggested it, and I was kind of blown away that I'd never thought of it before. It's literally the perfect career for me. I never thought I'd be one of those guys who has a career and not just a job that pays the bills. I'm super pumped, and I can tell my newfound ambition is a giant relief for my parents, LOL. After a series of really amazing conversations with my girlfriend, I realized I had no idea how deeply you could love someone when I proposed to her. I was definitely in puppy love. Someone in my original post said something about slowing down and enjoying the scenery, and I realize now that was exactly what I needed to hear. I don't know what my hurry is. There's a lot to experience before my mom's ring needs to make comeback. I also really had no idea about my girlfriend's goals and life plan, and see what you guys meant about that needing to be discussed. I've also been reading a lot of the books that people recommended to me, and wow, they've been incredibly helpful in all the relationships in my life. They've also made it obvious how naive I was. You called that one. I'm very grateful and appreciative of all the help you guys gave me. Edit, all the people who want a list of books will get it tonight when I get home. TLDR, put my mom's ring away, moved in with girlfriend, going back to school, and want to be a park ranger. You guys rock. Revel in comments. Commenter, I missed your original post, but I'm so excited to read this update. That's great that you and your girlfriend are still doing so well, and that you're growing as a person. Commenter, good for you. I'm massively jealous of your ability to fold a fitted sheet. OP, she's still way better at it, but it makes me feel like a magician or some shit when I pull it off. Commenter, hey, I've worked seasonally as a ranger and have a few friends who have as well, all in the National Park Service. None of us have any military experience in response to a comment I saw in here. Feel free to PM me if you have ever any questions. I may be able to help. Good luck with that and your relationship. OP, my girl set me up with this park ranger who's been helping me. I'll reach out if something comes up. I really appreciate it, man/ma'am. Story 3. I accidentally caused a war between my family and my brother's wife's family with one innocent text message. So my brother's wedding happened 2 days ago. It turned into a complete chaos, which I know even though I don't were there. You might wonder why I didn't attend the wedding if it's my brother's. Well, it's because of his wife's family. He did send me an invitation to the wedding because he wanted me there, but his fiancée told him I couldn't attend because I had a boyfriend. You might be confused, but I'm a man. A bisexual man to be exact, and I have a boyfriend who I wanted to bring to the wedding. She said even though she doesn't have a problem with that, and he doesn't have a problem with that, her extremely religious parents, who already forced her to do the wedding in a church, would most likely banish us from the wedding and cause trouble between our families. After she told him that, my brother told me I couldn't attend and told me why. You might think I was angry. The truth is I was relieved. I hate going to big events with lots of people because of my social anxiety, and I already was used to not being able to attend certain events because of my sexuality, so it was nothing I haven't heard before. So at the day of the wedding, I stayed at home with my boyfriend. It's worth mentioning my parents apparently didn't know I wasn't attending the wedding. I was chilling at home cuddling with my boyfriend when I suddenly got a text message from my parents asking me where I was because they couldn't find me at the wedding party. I told them I wasn't attending the wedding, and if my brother hasn't told them anything. They said no and asked me what happened. I didn't saw any reason to lie, so I sent them a text message telling them exactly why. Now I have to admit, I don't exactly know what happened after I sent them this message because they read it but didn't reply. And why do they care in the first place? They didn't notice I wasn't there before until the wedding was already over. They only noticed when the wedding party started. However, apparently my parents talked to my brother about it, and all of a sudden my absence was the main topic of the wedding party. From what I heard, two fronts formed. On the one hand, my parents and the rest of my family against the family of my brother's wife, and apparently he as a husband now felt compelled to take her side and tried to argue in her favor. It's crazy to think that I was just sitting at home living my best life with my boyfriend while all of that shit went down on his wedding. The wedding party was ruined, and my brother appeared on my door angrily screaming at me why I felt the need to ruin his wedding. I was confused and asked him what happened, and he told me everything. I told him it wasn't my intention. I just told our parents what happened because they didn't know and wanted to know where I was, and I thought he told them beforehand. He screamed at me that I ruined his wedding. I told him it's not my fault he wasn't honest with them. I just respected their wish to not attend the wedding. I couldn't know it would go down like this because, like I said, I couldn't attend several events before because of my sexuality, and my parents never said anything about it, so I thought it would be the same thing here. But I gotta admit it's kinda sweet that my parents and the rest of my family stood up for me. They haven't done it before. That's a more than welcome change. But I still feel kinda bad because apparently I really ruined the wedding party. Update number 1. 2 days later. Didn't thought I'd give an update, but many interesting things happened. So after my brother's visit, his wife and him went to honeymoon. And the way the wedding party went might have been even worse than I imagined. What happens now is incredible. When I said in the main post that two fronts had formed, I only meant that metaphorically, of course, but it's no longer that. While nothing much interesting happened in the first 2 days afterwards, the terror started as soon as my brother and his wife went on their honeymoon. My mom and my dad visited me and told me how the wedding party escalated, and they were so close to physical violence. I thought it was funny at first, but this truly bothers me. I also want to point that you did a great job at convincing me it's not my fault, but hearing my parents' side still gave me a bad feeling in my stomach. However, like I said, the terror started shortly after they went to their honeymoon. And when I say terror, I mean that my S-Gels family found both my Facebook and Instagram account and started spamming me with hateful messages. I received insults and hateful messages from various different accounts who all had one thing in common. They all had somewhat of a Christian theme, and all of them had the same last name. So it wasn't hard to find out whose accounts it was. Mainly because I don't know my SIL's family at all. I only know her, and I know her parents were homophobic Christians. But whatever. They not only started attacking me, they also found the account of my boyfriend over my account because we're linked as a couple and started to send him the same messages. The messages contained on one side typical bigot stuff like, "You're burning in hell for your sins." One even called me and my boyfriend two devils in disguise. The other side were just blatant insults. You get the idea. I called my parents and told them what they are doing. Then I sent a text message to my brother with screenshots of the messages his wife's family sent me, to which he replied that I shouldn't disturb him with that during his honeymoon as I already destroyed his wedding party. I couldn't believe it. He was just like them. He did send me an apology after my mom told me she called him. But none of this is the main reason I'm giving you this update this early. Because I got a call this morning from an unknown number. I hesitated because I thought it was one of them. And I was right, but was none of the people who insulted me. I heard a woman's voice who introduced herself as the half-sister of my brother's wife. She said it didn't went unnoticed what her family was doing, and she wanted to apologize for them. I told her I'm not going to tell anyone in her family about this, and that I don't blame her for her family's actions. She thanked me and hung up. I don't know why, but I have this feeling she only did this to protect her family from being reported. My mother wrote to me earlier that she wants to report the insults and the harassment of these people, and that she demands for my brother to divorce his wife, or she will disinherit him from her will because that's not how she raised him. A little radical in my opinion, but I understand where she's coming from. This entire thing escalated so much it's unbelievable. Thank y'all for your support on my first post. Why am I so casual about this entire situation? June 3rd, 2023, next day. Some of you were wondering why I seem so calm and casual in the update when I'm discriminated against. The truth is that I am in a relationship with my boyfriend for 3 years now, and the things that happen now are nothing compared to what I've been through. I receive hateful messages almost daily, not only from their accounts, but in general. And I learned to ignore that. There have been way worse situations, such as when my boyfriend went to visit his family and I couldn't go with him. We kissed each other goodbye on the train station, and when the train left and no one saw it, a group of guys attacked me. I was sent to hospital because of severe injuries. Just to give you an idea what I had to deal with in the past. And don't get me wrong, we will report my SIL's family, but what they are doing is nothing I haven't seen 1,000 times before. Update number 2. 9 days later. It's been a few days. First of all, me and my boyfriend are fine. Luckily for us, they didn't go any further than their text messages. My mom filed a report against them. I don't know the current situation about that, as I haven't filed the report myself. The reason I update you is a different one. First of all, one person in my SIL's family is actually going to testify in my favor and against her family. It really takes courage to do so. It's the same person that called me in the last update. Somehow they found out that she is into women. No reason to hide it anymore. However, she said she's fine and is going to stay at a friend's house. I have so much respect for what she does. Imagine the strength you need to testify against your own family. I now feel bad for assuming she only called me to save her family from being reported. More importantly, what is the current situation with my brother? Well, my mom talked to him and told him to leave his wife or she will disinherit him from her will. He decided to stay with his wife, and my mom made her threat come true. He's no longer in her will. My father did the same. When I visited them, I also told them that I wish that this entire situation went different. They assured me it's not my fault, but I feel like if it wasn't for me, then my family wouldn't be ripped apart like this. Haven't talked to my brother since then. My boyfriend feels familiar. He also told me he kind of feels responsible for all this chaos. I assured him it's not his fault. But honestly, I wasn't even sure if I could say this in my position. On the other hand, it was my SIL's family's bigotry that ruined everything, and everything would have been fine if I could have just attended. But now it's time for me to grow distant to this situation. We see what the report will do. I followed your advice to document everything. The insulting and harassing messages continued until 2 days ago, so I have much to say about them. Unfortunately, homophobia is still very much normalized in our society. I already said it in a post in my profile, but the reason I'm so calm and casual about the situation is the simple fact that I'm used to situations like this. They don't get to me anymore. If I let any insult get to me, I wouldn't make it for a long time. It's a coping mechanism. I've been into situations where I was sent into hospital because I kissed my boyfriend in public. So insults and harassment like theirs is nothing I haven't seen before. I want to say thank you for all your support on my first 2 posts. Update number 3, 2 months later. I think some of y'all are waiting for an update, so here I am. Keep in mind that this update will probably be the last one. So last time I told you my mother was pressing charges against them, and to my surprise we won. They weren't going to jail or anything, but they had to pay for their actions. Literally. There was one incident where my SGL dad was actually trying to find out where I lived, and asked my brother, who told him. Only God knows what he would have done to us if we still had lived there. But in the time span of the last 2 months, me and my boyfriend moved to a different place which my brother didn't know anything of. Also, their social media accounts were deleted. However, I don't know if this was part of their punishment or if they did it themselves. My mom has also carried out the threat towards my brother and disinherited him from her will. After he came back from his honeymoon, he begged her to put him in again. She said only if he apologized to me. She invited me and my boyfriend over, and my brother sat in the living room with this mad look on his face. She made him apologize, but I didn't accept this apology because I could tell it wasn't sincere. He did it because he had to and not because he was actually sorry. I told my brother that I am disappointed in him for who he became. Before that, we had this huge bond, usually never judged each other for stuff like this, and all of a sudden, he has such a problem with me having a boyfriend. I just don't get it. I told him that I miss the old him. He didn't respond to anything. He just sat there quietly staring at the bottom. After I finished, he just got up and left. This was the last time I spoke with him, and it's already been a few weeks since this happened. My parents paid much more attention to the discrimination I face since this incident. They wanted to learn more about the problems I face as a queer person. I really love them. My dad even got a bisexual pride flag for me and asked if he could hang it in our bedroom. I love that I have such great parents. I just wished for my brother to become the person he once was. By the way, since the case with my SIL's family is over, I didn't heard anything about their lesbian daughter. She supported us during the process, but we lost contact afterwards, and I just hope she's fine. Update number 4, February 16th, 2024, 6 months later. The final update of my story happened 6 months ago, and I figured some of you might be interested in how things currently doing. So I'm back at least for this post right now. There have been some things that happened. First of all, I want to give you an update about the sister of my brother's wife. Around 2 months after my update, she texted us and asked if she could come over. We talked a while, and I was relieved to find out that she is fine. She said that she moved in with her girlfriend when the case was over, simply because her parents and the rest of her family had disowned her and threatened her with physical violence if she dares to return. However, the relationship with her girlfriend ended after a while, and she asked us if she could stay for a few days until she found something. She stayed with us for 2 weeks. During that time, my parents had visited us and offered her to stay with them because they had a big house with some free space. She stays there currently because she wanted to study, and my parents had no problem with letting her stay a little longer. Me and my boyfriend also support her financially a little bit. We included her into several different celebrations, such as Christmas and New Year's Eve, and I feel like she is like the sister I never had. What's probably more interesting for you is how my brother is currently doing. The truth is, I don't know exactly. We haven't talked since the apology. However, he actually tried to attend our Christmas celebration party, but the moment he appeared, my dad kicked him out and said that, and I quote, "This homophobic rubbish is no longer allowed in my house." I love him. OBTW, of course, both went through with disowning him. My boyfriend and I are still together, and I feel like he might be the one I want to marry. This entire situation made our bond so much stronger. I plan on proposing to him, but there are so many ideas floating around in my head for the proposal that I can't really decide which one. Also, the social media accounts of my SIL's family had disappeared entirely. All of them, but I assume they already made new ones under a new name. I'm just glad all of this is finally over. I don't have any compassion left for my brother. I just wish he had never developed this way. Everything that happened to him, he brought it on himself. If you guys want, I can update you when I'm engaged. Thanks for reading. Wish you all the best. 3. Relevant comment. Valuable Pace 1904. Be sure to also hire security at your future wedding in case your brother, his wife, and his in-laws try to boycott it in any shape or form if they somehow find out where it'll take place. OP, I never thought about that, but true. If someone would try to do something like this, as a revenge, it's them. I keep this in mind. I proposed and he said yes, 2 months later. Do you remember when I told you in my last update 2 months ago that I will propose to my boyfriend? Well, I did it today. I brought up so many ideas that it was really hard to decide, so I gave him some subtle hints. Not too obvious. Just enough to see how he reacts, and then decide based on his reaction. In the end, I made a photo album of us featuring the most important events in our relationship. Each of them had a thought of mine in a caption below them. Some of them were meaningful, but some of them were just random. Like one photo of us eating at his favorite restaurant at his birthday, and the caption just says something like, "Damn, that pizza was good." That made him laugh. We walked to his favorite spot in town, which is a wonderful lake. That is where I gave him the album, and told him it's a present and to look through it. He was focused and didn't notice what I was doing behind him, as I just told him I was getting something I forgot. I positioned myself behind him, and that is when the last page came into play. That page had a photo of me holding the ring in the same way. I positioned myself behind him, looking straight at the camera. And the caption says, "Hopefully he says yes." He turned around in disbelief and started crying almost immediately when he saw me. I couldn't even finish the question, and he already said yes. It was exactly how I hoped it would go. I always dreamt of making my proposal like out of a romance novel, and I was successful. So yeah, that's it. I'm gonna marry him. I already told my entire family, except for my brother, of course. They were so happy about it, especially my mom, and new sister shrieked out of excitement on the phone. I assume my brother knows anyway, considering I share it on Facebook. You guys probably aren't wrong that he might plan something, but if he does, it won't stop us. Do you guys want me to update you when I'm married to tell you about the wedding and everything? My boyfriend and I will have a rather unconventional wedding, April 21st, 2024, 1 week later. I just have to tell you guys this. We're currently planning our wedding, and instead of a regular wedding dance, we decided we want to have a lightsaber battle against each other. Of course, it's not just a random lightsaber battle. It's like a choreography that we have to learn. We're both huge Star Wars fans. My dad, who also loves Star Wars, said he wants to join, and he had an idea how to do that. He said to add like a story to it that he wants to have a lightsaber battle against my fiancé, where my fiancé has to fight for the right to marry me, where my dad would eventually lose, and then I would step in to test my fiancé's strength myself, and there would be a lightsaber battle between us, and then I'd acknowledge his force as worthy enough. I know some might think it's childish, but I'm so excited for it. Our wedding will be a day for people to remember. Update 2 months later. Haven't talked to you for about 2 months. That is because me and my boyfriend are fully invested into planning the wedding. We have a date for it. It's gonna be next year. Still, I have so many followers on this account, and I kinda wanna include you into my journey. My sister is currently helping. I don't know if I should mention it here, but my mother recently called me to tell me that my brother apparently got divorced. I have no idea what's going on with him though. Not like I care much, but I guess for some of you it's probably interesting. I'm sorry, but too much happened, and I really don't want to have anything to do with him anymore. But enough about me. How are you guys currently doing? Top comment. Commenter, sorry op, but I would like to hear the juicy gossip about your brother's divorce. If you find out, tell us. Rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the floor laughing. I love karma, both good and bad. Seriously, I am very happy for your upcoming wedding. I hope you are very happy. Guys, the wedding was yesterday, but something happened. February 23rd, 2025, 8 months later. I remember how you guys told me my brother might plan something. He did. I'm still in shock. I'll post an update soon. But for now, I have to calm myself down a little. I'm glad for my husband comforting me. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. Congratulations on the wedding, and I'm sorry he fucked up your wedding. Did you have the lightsaber battle? That sounded awesome. Commenter 2. I'm happy y'all got to have your wedding. Red heart. Sucks he was a butt, but I hope it didn't overshadow an amazing day with your beloved. Smiling face with hearts. OP. Unfortunately it did. He wasn't just a butt, unfortunately. New update. I accidentally caused a war between my family and my brother's wife's family with one innocent text message. February 25th, 2025, 2 days later. So the last time I actively posted an update was about a year ago. If you haven't followed my account in the meantime, I'll briefly summarize what happened. I got engaged shortly after the update, and now a year later we're married. I'll be honest, I'm still shaken up. I wouldn't update on this subreddit if something significant hadn't happened. It's amazing that many of my followers have already warned me that my brother might be planning something, but I never would have thought that it could be so evil. The wedding took place a few days ago. We canceled our honeymoon for now until we settle things because right now we wouldn't enjoy it. While we were sitting at the table, eating and talking with our parents about the future, one of the security guards, yes, we did hire some as one you suggested, we had hired, approached me and informed me that someone outside was begging for admission. When I asked who, the guard hesitated briefly and informed me that was my brother. I told the guard that I would go with him to resolve the situation, but my father, who overheard the conversation, told me to stay put because it was my day and I shouldn't have to deal with it. A little later, shouting was heard from outside. My mother asked me to stay seated. She would go see what was going on, and when she came back, her face pale as chalk, she told me that my brother and my father were shouting at each other outside. My brother demanded to be let in, and my father told him to F***CK off. At some point, my brother left, and my father tried to calm down, but you could still see the veins in his neck with anger. He explained what had happened. We thought that would be the end of it, but no, it was going to get worse. Much worse, in fact. My brother had somehow managed to get past the security guards. When I noticed him, he was approaching with frantic steps, and my father tackled him to the ground. The music in the room stopped, and all eyes were on us. I called the security guards. My father was on top of him, shouting. My mother covered her mouth in shock. My now husband stood protectively in front of me. The security guards escorted him outside and called the police. Why? Because they had noticed that he had a pocket knife, which he dropped when my father tackled him to the ground. I didn't say that he had tried to attack me with it, but I assumed that that was what would have happened. He was arrested for attempted assault. He kept looking at me. He was no longer recognizable. His eyes were full of anger and hatred. The party was ruined. The police asked all the witnesses for statements and then sent all the guests home. We currently have to settle some stuff with the police and decided to take our honeymoon later because right now we are not in the state to enjoy it with everything that happened. Anyway, after everything, I'm not only disappointed in what my brother became, I'm straight up terrified. I'm trying to tell myself that he didn't actually try to end me. But how exactly do you deal with a situation like this? Me and my husband are trying to get past this, and he is so sweet, but I can tell it affected him too. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you guys because some of you predicted something like this and advised me to hire security guards, but I really underestimated it. I have to take a break for now. Thanks for reading. Top comments. Commenter 1. Bravo to your parents once again. I had hoped your brother would learn his lesson, but it appears otherwise. I hope you can heal from this experience soon and get the honeymoon you and your husband deserve. Medium light skin tone emoji modifier. Commenter 2. OP, as part of therapy, consult with legal counsel to determining whether you have an actionable cause of action for his ruination of your wedding reception. Perhaps sue him for reimbursement of monies expended for the wedding reception, all reception-related expenses. Commenter 3. Seek counseling ASAP. This was a traumatic event, and getting therapy can help keep you both from developing PTSD. So glad to see how your family has rallied around you and become such a wonderful allies. Many happy wishes for a long and loving marriage full of laughter and joy.